The Legends of Genesis by Hermann Gunkel. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. The Legends of Genesis by Hermann Gunkel, translated from the German by William Herbert Caroth. The Legends of Genesis. Part 1. The Significance and Scope of the Legends. Are the narratives of Genesis history or legend? For the modern historian, this is no longer an open question. Nevertheless, it is important to get a clear notion of the basis of this modern position. The writing of history is not an innate endowment of the human mind. It arose in the course of human history and at a definite stage of development. Uncivilized races do not write history. They are incapable of reproducing their experiences objectively, and have no interest in leaving to posterity an authentic account of the events of their times. Experiences fade before they are fairly cold, and fact and fancy mingle. Only in poetical form, in song and saga, are unlettered tribes able to report historical occurrences. Only at a certain stage of civilization has objectivity so grown, and the interest in transmitting national experiences to posterity so increased, that the writing of history becomes possible. Such history has, for its subjects, great public events, the deeds of popular leaders and kings, and especially wars. Accordingly, some sort of political organization is an antecedent presumption to the writing of history. Only in a later, in the main a much later, time is the art of writing history learned through the practice of writing national histories, applied to other spheres of human life, whence we have memoirs and the histories of families. But considerable sections of the people have never risen to the appreciation of history proper, and have remained in the stage of the saga, or in what modern times is analogous to saga. Thus we find among the civilized peoples of antiquity two distinct kinds of historical records side by side: history proper and popular tradition, the latter treating in naive poetical fashion partly the same subjects as the former, and partly the events of older prehistoric times. And it is not to be forgotten that historical memories may be preserved even in such traditions, although clothed in poetic garb. Even so did history originate in Israel. In the period from which the book of Genesis is transmitted to us, the art of history had been long established and highly developed according to ancient standards, having for themes, here as everywhere, the deeds of kings and especially wars. A monument of this history is found in the narratives of the second book of Samuel. But in a people with such a highly developed poetical faculty as Israel, there must have been a place for saga too. The senseless confusion of legend with lying has caused good people to hesitate to concede that there are legends in the Old Testament. But legends are not lies. On the contrary, they are a particular form of poetry. Why should not the lofty spirit of Old Testament religion, which employed so many varieties of poetry, indulge in this form also? For religion everywhere, the Israelite religion included, has especially cherished poetry and poetic narrative, since poetic narrative is much better qualified than prose to be the medium of religious thought. Genesis is a more intensely religious book than the Book of Kings. There is no denying that there are legends in the Old Testament.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?